HarperCollins presents The Move by Felicity Everett. Read by Jennifer Ness. Chapter 1. It was a miracle. I had navigated the town's one-way system without taking a single wrong turn. And this had to be the right road out because I'd just passed Tesco Express, which I remembered Nick telling me was the last chance to pick up a pint of milk before you hit bandit country. As the houses petered out and the last streetlight of the town dwindled to a pinprick in my rearview mirror, darkness fell like a cosh across the windscreen. I flicked the headlights onto full beam and turned the radio on. The syrupy late-night jazz made me feel like a character in a film. I imagined the panning shot, following my little car among the contours of the valley, the heroine driving with trepidation into her new life. Nick had wanted to come up and fetch me, but I'd told him no. I didn't want to be mollycoddled. Not anymore. A dilapidated signpost reared up from nowhere, and, unsure whether I had read it right, I made the split-second decision to take the turn off anyway, pitching the Renault downhill into a tunnel of green. Branches closed over my head, and the hedgerows rattled the sides of the car, their abandoned spring leaf growth a sickly green in the halogen. I followed the lane through all its labyrinth twists and turns, and was starting to wonder whether I might, after all, have gone wrong, when I came to the derelict barn that marked the start of the hamlet. The cottage was around the next bend. With a surge of relief, I pressed the accelerator, saw, too late, a brief flash of orange in the headlights, braked hard, felt a dull thud. Drove on. I think I hit a fox. I stood on the doorstep trembling. This was not the homecoming I had planned. Nick pulled a sympathetic face. I didn't even see it. I could feel my voice starting to break. I thought it was a branch, but it can't have been because look. I raised my palm to show him a rusty smear of blood across it. It wouldn't have felt anything, he said briskly. I wouldn't worry. Come here. He drew me over the threshold into a welcoming hug, but I held myself a little aloof, torn between the gut-melting desire his presence still, in spite of everything, evoked, and a reluctance to sully his pristine clothing with my bloody hand. What if I only injured it? I fretted. It might not even be dead. Come on, Kaz, Nick said, with slight impatience. This is the countryside. Foxes are 10 a penny here. The farmers hate 'em. You'll be a local hero. He tilted my chin upwards with his knuckle and pressed his mouth on mine, and I forgot about the fox and let my lips cling to his as if it were the kiss of life, which, in a way, it was. When at last he signalled with a volley of little kisses and a cancelling stroke of his finger across my cheek that it was time to stop, I sighed and turned to the room for the first time. Wow! I had only seen the cottage once for half an hour after the vendor had moved out, leaving the ghostly silhouettes of her mock Regency furniture on walls that needed a lick of paint. They had had the lick of paint and more. Oak floorboards gleamed in the lamplight. Fat church candles flickered on the deep sills of the curtainless windows. Familiar items of furniture mingled with new ones I didn't recognise. The place looked like a photo shoot for Ideal Home. You've been busy, I said. I wanted it to be nice for you. You don't mind that I chose things without you, do you? He stooped slightly and looked into my eyes. I shook my head with an amused grimace. Why should I mind about that? For the past 4 months I had barely been able to choose what clothes to wear, what meal to eat, what TV channel to watch. I don't think I was going to have a hissy fit about whether he'd gone for buttermilk or dimity on the skirting boards. That's lovely, I said, nodding towards a scuffed leather armchair. Local antique shop, Nick said smugly. It's a real deal, not one of those naff reproduction ones. Would have cost twice as much in Shoreditch. I had to suppress a smile at my alpha male husband's unexpected knack for homemaking. He'd even had the rug cleaned. Or perhaps it just looked better in front of the rustic wood-burning stove than it ever had beside our ugly Victorian fireplace at home.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?